A very warm good afternoon to all of you. Dear students, I welcome you all in digital class of biology. Students, today we will revise the topic laws of inheritance given by Mendel from the chapter principle of inheritance and variation. Okay? And I hope so that you all are quite excited. Yes. But students, before that, I would like to motivate you all, okay, with the beautiful lines. स्टूडेंट्स, कोई आपका साथ ना दे तो कभी भी निराश मत होना. कोई आपका साथ ना दे तो कभी निराश मत होना, क्योंकि परमात्मा से बड़ा हम सफ़र कोई नहीं होता. So dear students, never ever expect anything from anyone. Clear? Because expectation always brings sadness, it always hurt you. And if you want to expect from Lord Krishna, believe that he is always with you. Okay? Because student, he never allow his children to cry. Okay? So believe on him. Okay? And you will feel that you are the most blessed person on this earth. Clear? So with this beautiful lines, I would like to start with my today's topic, that is Mendel's law of inheritance. Clear? So students, I'm sure that you all are well aware of this great personality. Yes student, this is the man behind the important subject, that is genetics, and he only sowed the seed of inheritance. Okay, understood, in 18th. Okay, but you know that his work remained hidden for so many years, because students, people during that time, it was unbelievable for them that how something can transfer from one, okay, from one organism to another. So this theory given by Mendel was totally unbelievable. Okay, but it was in 1900 that three scientists, okay, they rediscovered his work, and then again whatever Mendel did, it was absolutely right. Okay, so students, in this lecture we will study about this great personality, about the laws given by this personality. Okay, students, I'm sure that you know the importance of this plant in the life of Gregor Johann Mendel. Yes or no? Yes, students. Okay, this is the plant, okay, that is garden pea, and its botanical name is Pisum sativum. Okay, understood, student? In this plant only, this Mendel, okay, he did his experiment by observing 7 characteristics. Okay, and about those 7 characteristics I want to recapitulate again. Why? Because those characters are important when we are studying about different laws. Okay, so I want the things to be very much clear to you all. So student, these are the 7 characters of Pisum sativum that was studied by Gregor Johann Mendel. Okay, first was the color of the flower. Okay, these are the characters. Okay, these are the traits. Okay, these are dominant trait and these are recessive trait. Clear? So student, if I talk about color of the flower, okay, it can be purple, it can be white. Okay, understood, but dominant one is your purple only. Clear? Then if I talk about the position of the flower, then it can be axillary. See here where the position of the flower, and it can be terminally. Terminally means at the tip, okay, of the stem. Then second is about seed. Here he took the color of the seed and the shape of the seed. Okay, in case of color of the seed, it can be yellow, it can be green, and in case of the shape of the seed, it can be round, it can be wrinkled. Then if I talk about pod, okay, he took two things, that is shape and color. In case of shape of the pod, it can be inflated, it can be constructed, and if I talk about the color of the pod, it can be green, it can be yellow. Clear? And last character which he studied, it was the length of the stem. Okay, it can be tall, it can be dwarf. Clear? I hope so that you remember whatever we have studied earlier. Yes. So student, in your law of dominance and in your law of segregation, okay, we will study this character, that is stem length, and in case of your law of independent assortment, we will study about the color of the seed and the shape of the seed. Okay, so I hope so that you all are ready. Clear? Student, okay, let us see, okay, that these are the Mendel's laws. Okay, that is law of dominance, law of segregation, and law of independent assortment. Student, first of all we will study about Mendel's law of dominance. Okay, student, if your two alleles are different, okay, like this is capital T and small t, okay, that is heterozygous condition is there. The trait which is associated with only one of these will be visible, okay, that would be your dominant, and the other which will be hidden, that will be your recessive. Okay, in this, okay, the phenotype of the organism would be tall. Why? Because capital T is dominant and small t, okay, it is recessive. Therefore the phenotype of this allele would be hidden. Understood? Through this you will understand better. Okay, student, what happened that in a hybrid union, okay, the allele, hybrid union means what? This is hybrid, okay, hybrid of two different parent, that is one was your tall and other was your dwarf. Clear? So in a hybrid union, the allele, okay, this is your hybrid, the allele which express itself phenotypically is known as dominant allele, while the other allele which fails to express itself phenotypically is known as recessive allele. Clear? The hybrid individuals show phenotypically only the dominant character, and in this case the dominant character is tall. Okay, so the phenotype of this hybrid would be tall. I hope so that you all have got. Okay, student, this law of dominance is often described as Mendel's law of inheritance. Okay, first law of inheritance, remember. Student, second we will study about law of segregation. Clear? Dear student, first of all try to understand that what is written in this slide. Okay, student, this law of segregation states that each individual has two factors for each trait. Understood? What does it mean? Each trait means, here I will take the trait of height, okay, and suppose this is one individual and this is another individual, okay, and the trait here I am taking is the height. So every individual have two factor, or I can say two gene. Why the word factor is there? Because the word factor for gene has been used up by Mendel. Clear? So if it is tall, then like this it would be, okay, means there are two alleles, okay, or it can be this, okay, or if another is there, it can be this. Okay, so each individual has two factor for each trait. It can be height, it can be skin color, it can be anything. Clear? Then second student, the factors segregate during the formation of gamete. Okay, the factors segregate. What does it mean? Okay, these are the factor, these are the two alleles which get separated at the time of gamete formation. These are gamete. Okay, see, they are separated, no? Yes. And student, each gamete, this is one gamete, this is second gamete, okay, each gamete contain only one factor, as you can see here. Though parent have two factors, but each gamete will receive only one factor of each pair of factors which were present in their parent. Clear? And finally, fertilization gives each individual 2 factors for each trait, and when these gametes they will undergo fertilization, okay, again that zygote would have 2 factors again. Okay, so I hope so that you have got a clear cut idea. Now about this we will study in your this cross. Okay, so please try to understand it. It is same which I had made you understand in my previous video. Okay, so here students, see here, it is your parent. Okay, these are your homozygous tall and these are your homozygous dwarf. Why word homozygous is there? Because 2 same alleles are there. Okay, yes or no? Like capital T and capital T, small t and small t. If by chance there would be capital T and small t, as we can see in your F1 generation, then it would be your heterozygous tall. Getting? Okay, so student, first of all, your homozygous tall and homozygous dwarf parent, okay, they will cross, okay, and they will form the gametes. These gametes they will separate out. Understood? And after that they will undergo fertilization to form the F1 generation. Okay, understood? And then student, what will happen in this F1 generation? Okay, Mendel was surprised because he had taken one of the parent as dwarf, but none of the progeny in F1 generation was dwarf. So again he did, okay, cross fertilization, or I can say selfing. Okay, not cross fertilization. Clear? Student, he did self pollination. Okay, self pollination means within the same plant. Okay, he exchanged the pollen grains. And after that what he did? Okay, again 2 gametes were segregated. Okay, and then F2 generation was produced. And what he found in F2 generation, that in F2 generation 3 these progeny were tall and 1 progeny was dwarf. Clear? So phenotypic ratio, okay, of your monohybrid cross was 3:1, and genotypic ratio would be your 1:2:1. Why? Because student, 1 was homozygous tall and 2 were heterozygous tall and 1 was homozygous dwarf. Clear? Student, have you understood the meaning of monohybrid cross? Monohybrid means here we will take just 1 character, okay, and Mendel took here the character of height. Understood? Height of the plant. Okay, I hope so that you have got a clear cut idea. Okay, now segregation means here your gametes will segregate at the time of gamete formation. Okay, see here how in your F1 generation, okay, they will form hybrid of the same gametes. Clear? Student, third law is law of independent assortment. Clear? First please try to understand that what is given in these lines. Okay, then only it will be easy for you to understand the cross. When a dihybrid form gametes, okay, dihybrid here means Mendel took round shape, okay, and yellow color. Understood? And then wrinkled shape and green color of the seed. Okay, so these are dihybrid. They will form gamete. Okay, and each gamete receive 1 allele from each allelic pair. Gamete will be your R and Y. R and Y. Clear? RY, RY. Clear? Understood? RY, RY. And then student, what would happen? The assortment of the allele, assortment means arrangement of the alleles of different trait during the gamete formation is totally independent of their original combination in the parent. Student, it doesn't matter that what was the genotype of your parent. Okay, your phenotype of the F2 generation would be totally different. Okay, student, remember that the parent which we have taken were only round and yellow and your wrinkled and green. Okay, but in your F2 generation we had seen that there were round and green color seed were also. Okay, so means your this round shape of the seed is independent. Okay, that it can pair up with the yellow color also, or it can pair up with the green color also. Okay, means they are independent to choose their partner. Similarly here also, your wrinkled shape of the seed can pair up with your green color also, or it can pair up with the yellow color also. Okay, so I hope so that you have got a clear cut idea. Okay, just last time see this. In other words, each allele of any pair is free to combine, see here, free to combine with any allele from each of the remaining pair during the formation for the gamete. Okay, it is also known as the third law of heredity. So student, here I would like to explain you. Okay, student, it was explained, the law of independent assortment was explained by Mendel with the help of a dihybrid cross, okay, which involved the characters of seed color, that is your yellow and green, and seed shape, that is your round and wrinkled. Clear? Then what happens, student? Mendel crossed true breeding variety. Okay, what does it mean, true breeding variety? Homozygous. Okay, we always start the cross with the true breeding variety. Okay, okay, having yellow cotyledon, okay, or I can say seed and round seed. Clear? With another true breeding variety having wrinkled seed and green seed. Getting? Thus the yellow round, or I can say round and yellow parent has the genotype RRYY. Clear? And wrinkled and green parent have YY and RR. Clear? RR and YY. Clear? Students, since each parent is homozygous for both characters, that is color and shape of the seed, each will produce only one type of gametes. Okay, that is these gametes. Clear? Student, the RRYY parent will produce all RY type gamete, and RRYY will produce all RY parent. It would be same. Clear? Then what would happen? All F1 dihybrids, okay, they will resulting from the fusion of these gametes. Which gametes? These gametes. Okay, it would produce double heterozygous. Yes or no? This is double heterozygous with RRYY genotype and appear round yellow. Clear? This indicate that in the dihybrid cross also in each pair the alleles behave exactly in the same way as in the monohybrid cross. Student, both the dominants, that is R and Y, express themselves in F1, while both the recessive allele, that is small r and small y, they remain hidden. Clear? After that, what was there? Okay, then these the organism of F1 generation, they undergo selfing. Okay, and then in your F2 generation we had different progenies. Okay, in the ratio of 9:3:3:1. Clear? And what would you will see finally? You will see that 9 were your round and yellow. Okay, see here, round and yellow. Capital R and capital Y, capital R and capital Y. Here color is given wrong. Okay, here it would be yellow, so don't get yourself confused. Clear? It would be 9:3:3:1. Student, finally Mendel came to 4 important conclusions from these experimental results. Clear? First was the inheritance of each trait is determined by factors, now they are known as genes, okay, that are passed on to the next generation. Second, an individual inherits one such unit from each parent for each trait. Third, a trait may not show up in an individual but can still be passed on to the next generation. Okay, as we have seen in case of your F1 generation of both monohybrid and dihybrid cross. And students, fourth, the genes for each trait segregate themselves during gamete production. Okay. Dear student, with this I finished my today's lecture. Okay, and I'm sure that you all have understood, but if still there is any query, please feel free to call me. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.